Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified business and executive coach with Action Coach based here in the Southwest Ohio area. We're thrilled to have you. I think you're going to enjoy this message today from Kristy Sieve. Really a message around being on the leading edge of building new brands, but also building an outstanding culture in the process. So if you're new to the Spotlight, we're thrilled to have you join us, and we encourage you to hit that subscribe button so you'll receive future messages like the inspiring message you're going to hear from Kristy here today as well. So without further ado, Kristy Sieve, and you are the president partner of Mertz Design Studio. Tell us a little bit how you got started in the design business, and tell us a little bit about Mertz.
Okay, awesome. So Mertz Design was founded over 20 years ago by my uncle. So we are a second generation family-owned business. I have two business partners. One is Savannah, who is my cousin and the daughter of the previous owner, and Tom Walker, who is been with the business for about 15 years. So we started off originally as an industrial design agency and really found that our opportunity over the years came from building brands with our clients from the beginning to the end of the process. So we have graphic design, industrial design, and motion and animation design services so that we can help any brand or product launch through the full process. So kind of an organic path to get there, but it certainly is a fun one.
You're exciting. And so an interesting history of making that switch from
Mhm.
industrial design to more, I think now you're more of a consumer products, not exclusively
Yes.
that, but would you mind maybe sharing some of the brands that you've partnered with? Because I think it's a very impressive list for our viewers.
Yeah, sure. So obviously being here in Cincinnati, we have the expected Procter& Gamble client, which is amazing. Procter& Gamble really was one of the brands that got us off the ground when we started. We work with their product Zevo, which is one of their more innovative and new products that was just out off the shelf. We also work with their oral care like Crest, Oral-B, etc. We are working with Dwayne Johnson on his brand. It's called Zoa. It's an energy drink that's supposed to be healthier for you. We helped him launch that product back in 2020. We're also working with founder Michelle Obama on her product called Plezzy, which is a healthier juice for kids. And we're doing the design services for them, helping them build and maintain their brand. And then we have a big push within the last year on working with and growing some of our local regional brands here in Cincinnati. So we're searching and actively searching out small businesses in our area to try to help them learn from what we have been doing with the big guys over the last 20 years.
So yeah, so for the viewers, again, just to recap on that. So from P&G,
Yep.
right, to someone named Obama to The Rock, all right, or
Pretty
the high
random.
profile groups you work with, all right? So,
Yeah,
but
everybody.
you talked about the but you're targeting some smaller, maybe newer
Mhm.
brands. Maybe so as you grow forward, who are kind of
Mhm.
your target ideal customers? Right?
So my ideal customer is somebody who's got a great idea and a great product and is ready to take off. So for us, we really want to be there to help them build some of that foundational brand, right? So what is the product? What is the form of the product? What is the brand? What does the brand stand for? And then how do we help them take it off the shelf with their animation and their storytelling? So the Zoa project and the Plezzy project were really good examples because they were ideas when we started working with them, and we were able to help them name it, package it, brand it, and then help them take off, right? So we really like those guys that are really gearing up to show up on the shelf, but maybe haven't quite got there yet.
So, so how do you find clients like that?
Well, great question. One of the things that we've been working with is connecting with some of the venture capitalist firms in the country, specifically targeting a lot of the women-owned brands and venture capital companies. As a woman-owned business, we find it important to make sure that we're reaching out and helping other women-owned businesses. We also started a program that I'm going to tell you about. It's called LaunchPad. You can find it on our website. LaunchPad is really targeted at the very small startup kind of organizations. And it is a program where we are taking students from our local universities that are interning for us and pairing them with some of the small businesses in our area to help give them the thinking and the design to take their product to the next level without the very expensive agency price tag, right? Because a lot of these small entrepreneurs are like mortgaging their homes to launch their products. So we're investing back into them. So each of those students has a mentor who coaches them through the entire project. It's such a cool project. I mean, we just launched that this year, and we are having an absolute blast working on projects we never dreamed that we would be able to. One of our favorites is In the Curious Kitchen. They're here on Northern Kentucky. I'm not sure if you heard of them, but she has Southern inspired foods. And we helped her rebrand her entire package so that it looked like a gift, so that you would feel inclined to give it out to your clients, give it out to your family and friends as a gift. And her boozy cherries are probably one of the best products I've ever tasted. So having a lot of fun. You can see more on our website under LaunchPad, and you can see a lot of the projects we're doing.
So, I mean, just a great concept there. I
Yeah.
want to give you a shout out for that. One, not only it's great experience for these college students, but basically access to branding and design skills
Yep.
that startups very, very, very few ever have the pocketbook
Yep.
to really engage at that level of play.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool. And it's amazing to watch the students over a semester go from, stumbling and not being able to write an email to having direct client interactions. And they're growing fast. And so far, we've hired half of them that we've
okay.
brought them on because they've been doing so well. So, yeah, but we're trying to put them out there better than they came to us, right? Give them a good
Right.
opportunity to get a great job when they graduate.
Was that part of the inspiration of doing that? Was you thought it'd be a great talent pipeline, or is it more of a
Yeah.
lead process for future brands? Or
It's both. So this spring, I spent a lot of time building my strategy, my growth strategy for the business, knowing that those clients that we really love are on the verge of taking off, and identified that a lot of them aren't quite ready to pay the full amount that they need in order to show up on the shelf, like at Kroger's or at Publix, Whole Foods, right? Like it takes a lot to be ready to be there. So we married my love for those types of projects and our love here and our culture of teaching and students and having those energetic and bright young talent in the studio. We kind of put them together and figured out, like, if we did that and we put them together, we can give everybody what they need, right? Good experiences, amazing design, affordable prices. It gives me a great pipeline of talent, and it also gives me visibility in our community with a lot of the startups and small businesses that are trying to get off the ground. So it's like kind of fixing all of the problems.
all right, great. Oh,
Yeah.
great example. So, hey, we were talking before we started here a little bit. You feel like, hey, in some regards, you're kind of a best kept secret kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? So
Yeah.
how are you trying to get the word out? And what is it you wish more people knew about branding and, or in particular, the Mertz team?
Yeah. So we're a small but mighty team. So we're under 20 people, but the brands that we're working with have big impact, right? And we we're trying to make sure that our name is showing up at the table for a lot of the conversations. So one of the ways that we're doing that is I've been meeting with a lot of Cincinnati's startup community. So meeting with Centrifuge and Blue North, Main Street Ventures, a lot of the categories of business, like the organizations that are helping businesses take off. So we've been trying to get a meeting face-to-face time with all of those. We're also working on speaking engagements. So this year we were speaking at Cincy Startup Week, talking about how to build $1 million brand and what it takes to have a brand that shows up. So trying to make sure that we're in the conversation. We've also been reaching out more using LinkedIn and connecting as much as possible with the people that are trying to launch brands that we're really interested in, a really good example would be watching LinkedIn. We saw a man who was trying to launch a new brand, and we reached out to him on LinkedIn, and we told him about the LaunchPad program. And he's out in LA, and he wrote back and he said, this is a perfect fit for me. And so we're helping him create his whole new brand from scratch. And he's now talking about it all over LinkedIn, which is getting us a lot of conversation as well.
Great examples, right?
Yeah.
Great examples and playing on multiple different fronts there. So,
Yeah.
so been in branding for some time now. In
Yeah.
particular, as leading the business, I'm always curious, what's been like the biggest challenge you've had to overcome in the last few years, and what did you learn?
Biggest challenge. I think in this era, um, well, two things. So buying a business from family is um, a challenge. We luckily found some really great advisors that helped us work through the process and make sure that we were all taking care of each other. Because, like with a family purchase, not only do you have to worry about yourself, but you have a family member that you're buying from that you like care about, which is a super hard place to be seated in a negotiation. So that was one of the bigger challenges. I would also say keeping a strong pipeline of talent is one of the other challenges because post 2020 with COVID and everything that's happened, we see a lot of different desires for work. People are looking for flexibility. They're looking for the work-life balance that they really want. They're looking for work that inspires them. And I think people are unwilling to compromise as much as we used to. I think that has been a challenge. So when I started with Mertz right after COVID, we had a ton of turnover. People just were ready to try something different. I think it was a big trend throughout like at the whole country. Um, so we got really intentional in who we were hiring in order to build out the right team for us, because to me, culture is the driver of our success. Good people equal good work, which equals happy clients, which equals more work. So, we're really trying to build like from the ground up that culture that really drives that positive work environment and the great work that we're putting out.
So as you look forward, do you still view
Yeah.
that as your biggest challenge as well, or is there another
Well,
challenge you see, upcoming on the horizon?
um, growth is a hard challenge, but I also think one of the big things for design agencies is AI and AI's role moving forward. A lot of people think that because they now have a tool that can give them something visual, that it's still good design. And really making sure people are educated that there's still a lot of thought and strategy that goes into it. It's very similar to back when I was in school and we were going from people doing things on by hand to the computer. They were all worried that their future, didn't look the same. But the computer was a tool to achieve what the designer was trying to envision. And we have to remember that that's what AI is. And so we need to learn to accept and adapt and use it as a tool moving forward. A lot of people are going to use it to start faster, which is great, but it's not always the best or the smartest. So it's really, I think AI is going to continue to be a challenge for the design industry.
So kind of flipping that coin there, how are you leveraging AI within your business to be
Yeah.
either faster or smarter, right?
Yeah, we're studying it. We're playing with it. We're using every version that we can find, and experimenting to figure out what is our methodology using AI as we move forward. I think it does allow us to communicate with clients way faster, which is a huge bonus for a service-based industry. But it's still a brand new tool that we're all trying to learn. So I have one of my designers who is primarily focused on studying the different options and bringing opportunities to us using AI. I'm hoping that he's going to have a report for me this year that we can start implementing over the next couple months, and test out some different methodologies.
So I'll pull on that string a little bit more. So when you talk about it allows you to communicate faster
Mhm,
with your clients. Would you
mhm.
mind sharing an example or two?
Yeah, so one example is we do a lot of e-commerce with our clients. So, for example, say, Todd, you've got a brand that you're launching and you want to sell it on Amazon, right? So, Amazon has criteria for the types of imagery that you're going to be showcasing. You have like a hero image of the product, and then you have a lot of lifestyle or secondary images that kind of tell the benefits. So, one way to communicate with AI faster is once you understand the keywords and how to manipulate and use the program, you can quickly generate some big ideas out of it in order to say, hey, Todd, here's the 3 or 4 directions we can go, right, with your
Mhm.
product. While it may not help us solve the final, it's going to help us get to the idea that we want to spend the
Okay.
time on faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of some initial drafts, initial options, and then
Yeah.
then go
Big
deeper. Use
idea,
your expertise from there, right?
concepting, big idea, big picture stuff. It's going to continue to grow and it's going to continue to get better. But like any tool, we got to learn it and then experiment and then figure out how to make it work for us.
So talked about what's in front of you a little bit. We're trying to figure out longer term, what's your vision for the business?
Yeah. So I want to be, if you've got a new product and you've got some backing, I want us to be the people that you call to say, hey, they understand what it takes to get a product from an idea on paper to the shelf, as your design partner, right? Like, I want to be that partner that venture capitalists are saying, hey, you should call Mertz. They understand how to be, your partner to getting your product completely designed and out the door. Um, we're working hard to be that. We already work that way with so many of our clients. We are the outsourced design department for so many different brands. Um, it's hard to imagine that that opportunity doesn't exist for a bunch of other brands.
We've talked already a couple times about the importance of culture, and I know you
Yeah.
stressed that even in our prior conversation as well. So maybe take a minute, kind of describe what you feel like the culture of success you've built within Mertz, right? And what have been the
Yeah.
keys to making that come to fruition?
Yeah. So our culture is respectful, uh, kind, innovative. They're passionate. Um, they're fun. Good Lord, we all work so hard. If we're going to leave our families and our kids all day long to go to work, we may as well enjoy ourselves. I mean, every person in my office went into design because they loved art. So like we want to embrace that passion instead of like squander it, right? So we spend a lot of time really making sure that people have that white space. We created a fund every year where every employee is eligible to spend up to a certain amount on learning something new. So they're free to go learn how to ski or to learn karate or to learn pottery because creativity can't be forced, right? You have to find inspiration in different places. We also have pushed to have more holidays and more breaks than we have ever had before. Um, I can't expect somebody to be creative 40 hours in a row in a week. And so I need to give people's time to like let their brain settle in order to find that creativity in that place of inspiration. Um, and one of the ways that I found the people that I'm working with is we really focused on our hiring process, right? So we're a small team with less than 20 people. Every person is a huge percentage of the culture. So we started off by identifying our core values, right? Every company has core values, whether they use them in their decision making as a business owner or not is their discretion, but we use it every day when we make decisions around who do we want to bring into the team and how do we operate. Um, when we created that list of values, we then took them and created a series of interview questions specifically around each of those, right? So one of our values is called Be Real. It's really about just being yourself and embracing who you are. So an example of an interview question that we ask around that is we ask every person that we interview, tell me something you geek out over. Like I don't care if it's work related or something else. I've had people tell me about beekeeping. I've had people tell me about snowboarding, right? But what I want is to see the passion of that person come to life as they talk about what it is that they love. Because to me, if I can see that passion, I know that they would be a good fit for our value of be real, right? Um, so we use those questions to kind of do a 30-minute initial conversation with anybody who we value as like an interviewee before we put them into the can they do the job? Because I can't teach culture. I can teach somebody how to click a mouse, but I can't teach them culture fit. So that's how we've been hiring for the last few years. And I think it's pretty much responsible for the amazing team that we have eclectically put together. And that is doing all of our work today. So I'm very proud of how that process worked out for us. It's been game changer for Mertz as we've continued to grow.
Have you seen that pay off then in terms of obviously retention, but
Yes.
also attracting
Yeah.
talent as well, whether it's referrals from existing employees and whatnot?
Absolutely. Retention for sure. The team definitely has so much respect for each other that we have this transparency of if there's a problem, they come straight to me and we talk about it. We find a solution. It's not a place where they're afraid to talk directly to me. The other thing is because of that LaunchPad program paired with the amazing culture we have, every student I've had that's been a part of those programs has asked me if they can have a job here when they graduate. So it's pretty cool to sit here and have them schedule a nice little meeting with you and come in and tell you how they love the culture and they respect and admire the people that they're working with every day and would I please consider them for employment. It's pretty moving that they get to spend 3 or 6 months with us and they're like I still want to stay. So it's really cool.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So, Christy, a lot of the viewers we have here are kind of newer in their entrepreneurial journey.
Mhm.
So, what have been your key success that you especially want to share with other leaders who are maybe,
Mhm.
just starting out, newer in their journey?
Yeah. I think my biggest learning, which was a whole career before I, started running Mertz, was really around every place I worked, every job I had from when I was 16 working, a checkout counter to, being one of the leaders at a different agency, I had something to learn. And even if it wasn't the best experience, there was something to learn and grow
Mhm.
from all those experiences. So when I took over at Mertz, I kind of created a manifesto for myself of what things happened in these places that I want to keep and what things do I want to learn from that never do. And created kind of a vision for my leadership team of I want to create the best design agency possible without the toxic culture that typically comes in a design agency. And so every decision we make, is really focused on following that. The other thing I would say that I learned is, you have your mission, vision, and values, and a lot of people, write them down and then put them away. I like to revisit those and I like to bring them out and I would like to make sure that the major decisions we're making are still following those things. And if they're not, then it's time to revisit and make sure that we're staying on track. It's all like a business is one big design project. And it's really exciting to kind of see how all the parts and pieces fit together in order to make it something amazing.
I love that fine. Great points there. I am going to
Yeah,
shamelessly steal that. A business is one big design project
it is.
because it is. That's a very good synopsis. Oh,
But that's what we do as designers, right? Is we look at a big problem and we look at all the parts and pieces and how they work. And that's how we kind of treat the business, right? It is a design project. And how do all these things fit together to make it, what we want it to be?
So, Kristy, as we look to wrap up here today, what are the best ways for folks to stay connected with you and Mertz and to
Yeah.
follow you guys as you grow forward? Right?
Yeah, so our website is www.mertzdesignstudio.com. We have a blog on there that we're posting on constantly. We're also on LinkedIn and Instagram. Um, at Mertz Design Studio is kind of the tag that we use. And on there you can find numerous ways to get a hold of us. Um, Pretty easy. We're on there all the time.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And I would encourage, I'll pile on the viewers to go check out your website. It's
Yeah.
extremely interactive. It's actually entertaining,
Thank
eye-catching, and you do have a tremendous amount of content on there as
Yeah.
well, educational content for
Yeah.
folks to consider. So,
Thank you.
so as we wrapped here today, Kristy, what are you inspired by today?
Oh, I am inspired by I it's going to sound super cheesy, but the young people in my studio. I am very, very inspired by their passion and their ideas. They are giving me things to chase and new ways to think every day. And I have daughters the age of some of the kids out here, and I totally love the energy and the passion that they bring every day. So they are probably what inspires me the most right now.
Well said. Well said. Right. It's fire to see that next generation, right?
Heck yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
challenging us in many great ways. So.
Every day.
Keep it up, kids. All right.
Yeah.
So, so Kristy, thank you so much for taking the time out to share your story and letting us know more
Thank
about
you.
Mertz. To our viewers, we're thrilled to have you join us here as well. Again, encourage you to hit that subscribe button, the like button as well. We appreciate that, but also check out other messages in our series. So, Kristy Sieve, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us today. All right. And
Yeah.
again, hope you all have a terrific day. Thank you.